You guys are still muted. I don't know if,
Hey, sorry about that. We're gonna get started in just a minute, but we're just working through some technical details.
no problem.
Okay. I was saying, oh, Steve just got younger.
Chandra, that was a lovely, that was a lovely event.
Thank you. Thank you. We were saying that post-COVID, there's so many opportunities for us to come together, and we're like just grabbing towards all of them. Even tonight, I was like, oh, it's People's Theater Gala, but I have to do this presentation, otherwise Steve will kill me. So I got all colorful for the arts. I said, well, I'm just gonna get colorful for the board. Steve will have my hand. So he should know I'm missing Mino's gala. Well, but this is important too. I see him now arriving very serious. But thank you. It was indeed great to see everyone and at the one roof and really just celebrating and connecting with one another. So it's truly a nice event.
Yeah, it was lovely. I'd love to get a copy of the picture.
I will. I know, we're glad the photographer made it in one piece. They just showed me the image. It looks like what do they call it? A panoramic picture, because there were so many. I think we were at 150.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really nice. Nice. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. This is the Committee Board 12 Manhattan Health and Environment Committee, and my name is Steve Simon. I'm the chair of the committee, joined by my assistant chair, O.C. Kamina, by Jacob Banis, by Heidi Guzman, who's joining us remotely. She's a bit under the weather, and by Jody Herson. So we declare the presence of a quorum, and we're going to get started with our first item on the agenda. We've been waiting for this presentation for, I don't know, a long time. No, not that long. But we're joined by Sandra Harris, Vice President for Community Affairs and Partnership Engagement from the Columbia University Irving Medical Center, and she's going to talk to us about the current plan that's just actually the building is now in construction, a new biomedical research building as part of the Medical Center campus at Audubon Avenue and West 167th Street. Ms. Harris, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Steve, and thank you so much for allowing me to join you and present. So I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, that's the presentation that's gonna make me happy, right?
Yes. Let me
Remember
just
that?
start. Do you see? Let's see. Am I sharing?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Let's hear it.
So,
Yes.
so thank you so much. So, Steve, I was gonna make the joke that it's not a joke, it's actually true. Today is People's Theater Project first sit down gala downtown, and I got all dolled up and I said, oh my goodness, no, I can't go because it's the health committee's presentation, and Steve will definitely have my head if I do not show up. So I got all colorful and dressed up for this wonderful presentation. So it's my
Well,
pleasure. This is great. So I wanted to first start just with a brief, Steve, if you allow me, overview of my new office and how we're going about our community engagement efforts. So I wanted to just take a few minutes before I dive into the our new biomedical research program. So last year, some of you were invited to have conversations with our new dean about our community engagement needs and really looking and having some conversations around our university's research portfolio. Out of those conversations, we moved on to have further conversations with our faculty and staff. And we identified as part of our BPNS, which is our Vagelos College of Physicians and Surgeons strategic plan, is two specific goals around how to better engage our community in our research findings and really making sure that we share the knowledge and expertise that we're constantly discovering within our institutions. So out of that came two specific goals that this new office that now I'm leading will be really following through our various schools, our Morningside campus, and also with our partners at NYP. So one of those goals is really looking to align the many medical center assets and activities that we already have in order to look at the needs, the health needs of our community and figure out how together we move those agendas. And on goal number 2 is also looking at quality healthcare access. In that aspect, we're really going to be looking to establish deeper partnerships with our community physicians, more sharing of our latest research findings to improve care, and really more resources and advocacy on fostering partnerships with our local community organizations. So what the dean has, as a result of our conversations with many of you in the community and our internal community, was really to bring together the offices of community health, community service programs, and community affairs to really collectively look at what are all the assets that we have within our institutions and be more impactful in how we engage with one another. So as of that, we now have my new office, which is the Office of Academic and Community Partnerships, that will be really working on catalyzing a lot of these partnerships and really making sure that we're doing the right level of promotion, education, and most importantly, sustainable partnerships with our community-based organizations to allow many of the advances in our research missions to really come to fruition across our community's health and well-being. So with this office, we have 5 goals, which is really to act as a central hub for the medical center, to partners around our education, clinical care, and research missions, and really to enable bi-directional research participation. And this was something that was very important to our faculty, because one of the challenges that we have in our research empire is that we partner with community organizations. And as you know, many of our research initiatives are time limited in terms of engagement. So there was a huge concern as how do we create some kind of bridge funding and continue support and engagement with our local community organizations to continue to do the health advocacy and promotion. So through this office, we'll continue to foster those collaborations and making sure that we're delivering on evidence-based programming, which is one of the critical things that we feel that together we can look as a community. And it's really talking about how do we evaluate our community health interventions? How are they working? Are we really moving the needle on greater health indicators? And who is not at the table that should be at the table as we work through some of these innovative programs and initiatives? So I just quickly, we have some long-term, short-term goals that I will be happy to come back to the board and really continually update on how we're doing. So one of the first things that we're doing across the medical center enterprise is really looking at what are we currently doing around academic and community partnerships across all of our schools, our Morningside campus, our medical center campus, and really looking for those gaps, those opportunity to really expend more time maybe on those programs that deserve more attention, more resources, and how do we collaboratively work with our community partners around sustainability of these initiatives and incorporating in there that evaluation tool that I referenced earlier. Our pipeline program are one that are receiving top priority. We have numerous pipelines program both at our Morningside Medical Center campus, and we're currently looking at how do we partner with our local schools to ensure that at the local level, and I know I see you'll be happy to know that every time I'm in a meeting, I'm always like, but what about give me the local CB12 numbers, because as an institution, we are in the city of New York and obviously impacting all of our 5 boroughs. But for this initiative, the interest of my office is I want to go in there and really pull the data from our local schools and identified what are the barriers and challenges limiting our students, our schools from really engaging in greater numbers in this wonderful pipeline program. So that's something that we're going to be working on. And I hope that sometime in the fall, I'll be able to come back to the community board and just give you some baseline on where we are with these pipeline programs and some of preliminary conversations that we're having with local schools to implement a more robust pipeline engagement with our local partners as well. So in that, I just want to briefly cite, who is the team that is leading. So through the Office of Community Health, we have Dr. G.Day Williams. Many of you know him as the hip hop doctor. He has established a lot of the stroke education in our local schools throughout the city. Dr. Lantigua, who oversees many community service programs and also practicing at our AIM practice with NYP, and myself also now partnering with them in this new office. So the real reason why you invited me here today and why I needed to be here is really to talk about our new biomedical research building. We had, I believe we came to the Land Use Committee back in April and presented on the project. We're very excited. As you know, for most of this development, we really keep it under wraps until we have trustees' approval. And as one of the trustees who's supporting this effort said, we've only started building. We're still fundraising to make sure that this construction is on time. So as you have heard, we will be beginning, Steve. We just had how would I say, a fake groundbreaking. This is actually sand that we put in here last week. But we are happily beginning the construction phase of our new first in New York City all-electric biomedical research building. And we're truly very excited about that. I just want to share for you some of the site. The building is going to be located on 167th Street in Audubon. This is right next to our School of Nursing, our Rusbury facility. And for those of you, my office is right across the street, so I am also very happy on this site. But in all seriousness, I think that one of the things that I pointed out with this site is the opportunity for us as an institution to really begin to look at our entire community and bring about spaces that create and revitalize a lot of the strips in the area. So I'm really, truly happy that this building is going to be on Audubon Avenue, and all the possibilities that we're going to be able to create at this site in terms of research advances. So again, this is the site location, as I mentioned, is next to the Rusbury building and our School of Nursing. We currently, at this site, we currently do parking. That parking will remain. I think as of June 10th, it will be temporarily closed, and most of those parkers will have been relocated throughout other university parking throughout the area.
Are you gonna have parking on the ground?
Yes, the parking will remain. It is now temporarily removed because for the ground floor of the building, we need some of the height. So actually what we lose is a space that we know very well, which is our Rusbury Conference Room 1 and 2. But we're looking at availing those classrooms and community engagement spaces throughout other sites. But the parking, as it does return once the construction is completed.
So this building is going to extend into Rusbury?
It's interesting. It will have connector hallways, and then let me just show you here. So it will extend into Rusbury, is what we call the collaborative share spaces. So there will be that cross collaboration opportunities for research faculty to convene and engage with one another. So for our faculty and researchers, they will be able to connect from the Rusbury facility into the new biomedical facility as well. Yes. So okay, let me just go back here. So as we said, the new building will be comprised of a lot of the research space, wet labs, and it will house 32 private investigators, what we call the lead PIs on many of these initiatives, and overall a total of 207 research staff. I just wanted to go to some of the shared spaces. So Steve, here you can see in terms of the web lab and lab support in a lot of those collaborative spaces, there's a lot of flexibility in what they called these collaborative zones or cages or stations that really allows our faculty to engage across the different research priorities in the building. And it's set up in a way that allows for that collaboration. I think that a lot of the first buildings that we did over at the urban side had that same footprint in terms of the cross collaboration between faculty and the different departments. So here's some of the things that I know that for us is something that is very exciting. This will definitely be the first university-owned and I since learned the first New York City building that will be fully rely on electric energy. So I believe, and we were researching this, that we will be the first in New York City to have an all-electric building. And it would also be the first research electric building. So my understanding is in talking to the team that most of our most of our research building really consume over 30% of energy in terms of the function, maintaining the freezers and a lot of the equipment that is used. So this is really innovative in terms of having a net zero performance overall. And it's one of the things that it's definitely going to move our Columbia 2030 sustainability, because we're definitely exceeding even the city's levels for high efficiency on building fully electric. So we're really looking forward to this building. One of the aspects that I wanted to highlight, because I think that actually we were talking about the green roof and energy walls, and one of the things that I had no idea that this building will bring is that there's this concept with green walls and planters in common, that it's sort of some type of design that reduces fatigue amongst those inhabitants. So some of us are really advocating for relocating to this building because of all the benefits that it would actually have for the faculty, the researchers and our scientists and students that will be using the space. So as I said, the building does outperform the local 97 law. So it will truly be setting the standard for future
now.
research
Because-
for now. Well,
For now,
for
until
now, unless they
2040.
can build, unless they can build before the fall of 2027. Whoever
No,
comes
it's still
around.
it
Mhm.
still is until 2040. It's actually, 2040 is when everyone needs to start going electric. But
Right.
before that,
So
you are
we're scheduled, our construction phase is 18 months. I give it 2 years. So that means that we will have the first fully electric building in 27. So that's our goal.
so
Well, let her finish.
oh, okay, never mind. I'll ask later.
Yeah, finish the presentation.
Okay, so basically, it's really looking at embodying the wellness of all of our services. So one of the unique things, and I stole this presentation from our facilities team, but what I really wanted to highlight, which is also the goal of this new Office of Academic and Community Partnership, is the creation of spaces where communities can come in and collaborate and learn more about the work that we do. And in this particular space, I'm delighted to say that we really advocated to have ground level space for community engagement and participation. So one of the things that we've started to do with our community advisory boards is really have a consortium of community leaders really acting as advisors to our research faculty on what are the needs for research in our community, how to better engage our community. So in fact, before a grant proposal is submitted to NIH, through my office, we facilitate these engagements and conversations between our researchers and community members and service providers and just lay community. And what I mean by lay community is maybe individuals that are not connected to any given organizations, but are local residents that have experiences on certain conditions or diseases that we're looking to research on. And I think that creating these spaces throughout our development of new facilities is critical to really have our investigators do the research that truly addresses the needs as perceived by our community residents. And this building, Steve, on the ground floor level will have such a space for our uses in community engagement as well. So before I answer some of those questions, I just wanted to quickly, what I did is embedded my normal report to
Okay.
see, which is long overdue, and this one will be quick, on some of the Haven Plaza upcoming events. We started our farmers market started last Tuesday. Actually, it's this Tuesday, it's Thursday, and we'll be going on through November 26th. We have an upcoming Cerebral Palsy Community Day on Haven Plaza on the 8th. which is we have sent invites to the community board and the community at large, and will definitely be a great fun day for patients and families throughout our community to engage in. We're having a special screening on this great film on dementia and its impact on families called Keys, Bags, Names, and Words. You can look up the film. The documentary is excellent. We're having the first viewing of the documentary June 11th. The first version of this film is in English. The second part will be in Spanish coming out this summer. So we will have another viewing in Spanish for our community, followed by a similar program with a panel discussion with our researchers on the impact of Alzheimer's and caregivers and how to give support for that. On Saturday, June 15th, we're having our Science and Community Health Day. If you have any questions that you want to ask our doctors, we're hosting an Ask the Doctors and Scientists session. And this coming on the 15th, we're focusing on stroke, heart disease, integrative medicine, heat and health, pain management, and other topics, but you could definitely come and attend and just have your own questions. And this is an interesting one. So we managed to get 20 of our doctors and research scientists just available just for an Ask the Doctors question. So we have them in booth in rotating schedules at our Center for Community Health Partnerships at 394 Washington. This is going out also throughout our community and our senior centers, and we're really looking forward to putting our doctors and scientists on the spot on this day. So I truly encourage if you have some time to stop by and enjoy. One of the things that I wanted to highlight, we're also having on June 8th, Manhattanville Community Day, and many of you have received this flyer. This is a day where we're highlighting a lot of the programming around our sciences and school-based programs. Noise and community health. We're working with our community partners. They will be, I believe that Tanya is on your schedule today to talk about this program. So we're very excited that this discussion and conference is coming to Haven Plaza. We will have a conversation on noise pollution and partnering our researchers, our mailmen, with our community partners to begin to explore that work and how we set some sound policies for us to adapt as a neighborhood on these conditions. And I think I'm gonna stop there, but I'm gonna keep my slide. How do I do this? Okay. And then I'll take some questions. Ooh, okay.
All right, let me, Sandra, let me begin. Thank you for the presentation. And please email it to me so we can.
I will. And I'll email it to you with the links for the registrations also.
All right, very good. I mean, one thing that caught my eye is the fact that I think one of your goals or one of your missions is to increase community participation in clinical trials. And you probably will recall that's been a big issue for this committee. And so maybe at some point later on in the fall, we can have a full discussion about how you plan to carry that out.
I can give you a brief insight of what we're doing. As I mentioned, and I know that I have the Recruit Me team scheduled to come back to this committee. So one of the things that we started to do with the recruitment is really begin, Steve, with a lot of the education around research and the importance of research and the fact that there is a huge underrepresentation of minority populations engaging in the research sciences. So we're currently working with some of our key community-based organizations in doing that education and also co-sharing community engagement staff with our various community partners so that we begin to have those conversations. So I will definitely be coming back to the committee to talk about some of the outcomes of those initiatives of sharing staff between our community organizations and our scientists, and really setting up some portals and I want to say portals, not so much the computers. Similar, we're trying to figure out how do we embed our Recruit Me site in our different community settings with a community health worker or some educational component around that. But we definitely are aggressively addressing that with our community partners as well as with our non-affiliated community physicians.
Well, it's my thought that with the hospital's construction of the new Cancer Plus building, that the cancer work that goes on at the medical center campus is going to literally and figuratively have a much higher profile, and that I would hope that I assume that some of the clinical trials might take place at the Cancer Plus building, and I would hope that that both the hospital and the university would cooperate in making a more aggressive effort to include local people in the clinical trials, especially involving cancer in this case.
We are, and this initiative that I'm speaking to involves our cancer, our urban center. So this is very much a collaboration in making sure, especially around cancer. As a matter of fact, cancer is the number one research engagement that we have set out for this project. So we will be coming back and sharing some of that and how that work is going.
Yeah, very good. So explain to me what is this is a this bio back in the 1990s you constructed at the Audubon Ballroom site
Right.
a biomedical research facility, which as far as I know is still in operation. It still has I hope it still has biomedical research taking place in that building. How does the biomedical research to be undertaken in this new building differ from what's happening or should be happening in the other building?
Right. So this is definitely an enhancement of what is happening in the other buildings. If you recall, in our initial plans, we were looking at incubator space, which was the right term for the biobank. Remember, at that time,
Yes.
we were
Yeah.
looking at housing companies, entrepreneurs, researchers that were out there and innovators, what is called incubator space. It turns out that those spaces, in terms of cost and the time that takes for a lot of these incubator companies to come out and patent their cures, did not prove as profitable for the incubators as we initially thought, right? So we're going back to how do we get the collaboration, the cross collaborations with our scientists. So these new biomedical research is really looking at continuing to do our research that's going on at the medical center campuses, not necessarily the incubator space that has been set out for the Audubon Biotech, which was it was for companies all
Yes.
over looking at discoveries that we were promoting, right, and advancing with the goal that you have an academic medical center research scientist to do
Right.
that collaboration with.
So those spaces, for the most part, I take it are not really being used any longer as incubators for companies just starting out.
Right,
So,
right.
but
So
they
a
all,
lot of it has returned to basic science research, clinical science research. Yes.
so then isn't it somewhat comparable to what the research that'll take place in this new building?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So and would you say it sounds to me as though this new building could be like a 24/7 research is going on all night long, right? I mean, there'll be people coming and going from this building 24/7. Is that correct?
We hope not, but scientists do have a tendency to be in their labs
Right.
at times. Yes.
All right. But I mean, that's maybe a good thing for the neighborhood. All right. So any other questions?
Of course.
Oh, of course. OC Cameron, my assistant chair.
Thank you. Could you go back to the slide with the bullet points?
I'm coming.
You have colored bullet points.
Okay, so let me go back to my presentation. Hold on, so now let me. Let me get the slide up because it's not letting me go back. Give me 1 second, Ozzy. So if you can remember the
No.
question, and I'm gonna start looking for it for the
Okay.
presentation.
Yes, there were, at one of the bullet points on the bottom indicated, green walls.
Yes.
And you were talking about interior green walls, right? My
Yeah.
question, I was thinking maybe this could be exterior green walls. There are, that's something, this exists, actually. It's not something new. It exists for many years, and the reason why I'm saying it is, I'm thinking the building is almost solely glass. The exterior envelope is mostly glass. And that could eliminate some of the heat that, okay.
Here we go.
This one, yeah, right. So green walls, I understand green roof, that's fine. Green walls and planters in common area. The question is, did you think, or was there any the thought about doing green walls, exterior green walls? And I'm just looking at because the building is mainly glass.
Right.
Okay, so if there is a blackout or brownout or whatever, the glass is not really great in a situation like that because the building will get really hot in about 90 minutes. So to mitigate that potential problem, if you have something that, like green walls, exterior green walls, that could mitigate some of the problems. So that's why I thought if there was a thought behind that, or this was, and why was it canceled, if there was any thought about that. Just something, maybe you can bring it up next time.
I think,
Interested to know.
I was part of early conversations with the team, and I just wrote down your question because the issue of exterior green walls did not come up. So I just made a note in terms of you were mentioning if there's a blackout in terms of the heating. I did not hear of those conversations of exterior green walls, but that's something that I can definitely bring back. I did understand the concept of the ring walls in terms of the conservation of energy inside and environment and all these other good aspects of the green walls that were highlighted. But then that's something that I can definitely bring back as a question to our scientist teams. Yeah.
My other question in terms of the demand-based controls, are we
They were
looking,
saying, I'm just looking at my notes that I had from some of those meetings, and we mentioned the biophilic elements, which is those green walls. So it's sort of like an extensive use of the natural resources. I guess the question that I would bring back to them, how does that translate with the glass building, those elements still protect, right? I guess that's the question. Or are you just saying in terms of a blackout?
well, the question if there was any thinking about doing exterior green walls, and why was the reason, if there was, what is the reason that it didn't happen? That's all.
Okay.
My other question in terms of demand-based controls, are we talking about the lightings that go on and off in relation to the outside lights?
Yes.
That comes out, like the natural light that comes out? Okay, that I wasn't sure because there is okay. Okay, yeah, I don't have any other questions right now.
Yes.
So
I don't see any other hands. Can we, is Heidi, the artist, something in the queue?
Let me just see. I see some questions in the chat. Let me just see. Are you able to see the questions?
Well, there is a question from Rana Siufi. Has an environmental impact study been done regarding sourcing of materials used for construction impact on animal species such as birds, etc. I mean, I got to assume that you're going to comply with the law and have windows that
Yes, we have, and we have an adjacent building at our School of Nursing that is a glass building and is complying with the whole laws in terms of bird and so on. We have, but I can definitely get you confirmation of that. But I can say that is a standard for us
Okay.
at Columbia.
right. And the rest of this question sourcing of materials used for construction. Do we know the extent to which they might be environmentally beneficial?
Well, I can say, to the fact in terms of how we're looking at Mother Earth and sustainability, that has been, the number one priority with this project from the entire team in terms of making sure that the materials and everything used for our construction is, supportive of all of those policies in terms of environment and nature and animals and so on. But it
Now,
sounds like a very specific sourcing of materials.
Right.
So that's something that I would want to bring back to the design team.
All right, very good. And I'm a little confused. So you had a symbolic groundbreaking.
With sand.
Well, okay, but so construction has not actually begun yet, or not yet? Okay.
Construction has not begun. We're hoping to start construction sometime end of June.
Oh, okay.
It has not started yet.
Like of this month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is
We
the
just had a
duration
box of
the-
sand. We just had a box of sand for the groundbreaking.
All right.
What's the duration of the anticipated duration of construction?
The anticipated duration is 18 months.
Okay.
I am not a construction management specialist, but I am banking on make that 2 years.
Okay, that's.
All right. I don't see any other questions. Sandra, I think we're going to let you go. And thank you for making your presentation, and keep us posted, and come back to us with the answers to a couple of those questions.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Diana, you had a question? I saw
No,
someone.
no.
I really last and quick one.
Yeah.
Are you looking to get a certification as for like LEED certification or passive house or any of the two?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that one of the things that this building will really sort of supersede all of those certifications, but we're definitely seeking all of them for this construction.
Okay.
Actually, Sandra,
We want to lead. We want to be the standard.
So do passive house, not LEED.
okay.
Which one? I'm sorry, Ozzy?
Passive house. Actually, Sandra, I'm duty bound from our years of work together. I have to ask you, is Columbia instructing the contractors to hire local people for the project to work on the construction?
Yes. So as you know, we have exceeded a 30% minority construction contracting and employees. So one of the things that we do, even when we get sort of the larger companies, is that they have to partner with local contractors and bring those locals. So that is set at a standard that we have to meet with every single one of our construction projects.
But you know that we want you to go one step beyond just minority hiring. We want you to we want you to try to go and we want you to be hyper local and hire people from Washington Heights and inward. So,
Yes.
and that would be consistent with the message that you were conveying earlier about how you're also looking at
Yes.
data from Washington Heights and inward. And one of
Yes.
the ways to improve the community, of course, is to give people jobs.
Absolutely. And we'll be coming back with that. That is, you can be sure that is the voice at the table, making sure. So I just highlighted that hyper.
Very good. Okay. Oh, you can You can count.
Marilady, I think, has a question
Oh,
or, I'm sorry, I
yes,
said I
sir.
can see everyone on screen here.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi.
Yeah, go,
Yes, I have the same question of Steve, but I want to know if we training in our workforce development can help you on that. So I can give you the contact of our workforce development director, and like that with the community, we can training people on OSHA classes for free and help you to find a job for them in that construction. Is that
Excellent.
help?
Excellent. Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Definitely.
all right. Actually, Sandra, I should mention that you referred to the fact that Tanya is on the agenda, and she's going to be joined by an associate professor from the Mailman School,
Yes.
but Marcus Hilpert. So
Yes, yes. We're doing the noise. Trust me, Tanya's keeping me honest. I'm learning about those pixels, so I gotta memorize now.
the
So
decibel.
the decibels,
not-
we're learning that actually even for some of our machinery that do a lot of our testing in our labs,
Right.
there cannot be interference with decimals at certain levels. That's what I'm learning with my Haven Plaza programming. One program that I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, I'm going to take up all this time, is that we're participating in the Sing for Hope program. So on June 11th, we're getting a piano delivered to Haven Plaza. So we're one of 15 sites throughout the city that will participating in the Sing for Hope. So I will be sending out flyers with a program. We have guest pianists that are going to be on site. And for those of you who can play, or maybe are trying to, or make believe that you do, please stop by the plaza Monday through Sunday, 10 to 6. It's our piano, our public piano that will be at the plaza.
Well, won't it be there for maybe a couple of weeks?
It's a 4-week program.
Right.
They will all be delivered on June 11th, and they're all
Okay.
picked up, unfortunately, I believe June 30 or that first weekend before the 4th of July.
And then at the end of that period, they, if I remember correctly, they donate the pianos to local community groups.
Yes, yes, yes. So interestingly, I've been speaking to NOMA and other artist groups and see, how should we handle this? Because there are a lot of deserving
Right.
groups. So yeah.
Right. All right. Very good. All right. Thank you, Sandra. We'll see you again in September
Yes.
mark it down, September 5th.
September 5th. See you then. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda. No, it's after Labor Day. Next on the agenda is Stephanie Mercado Altman from New York City Smoke Free. There she is. Stephanie, you've been to this committee before, have you not? Yeah, a couple of years ago, maybe. All right. So, you're going to be speaking about the marketing and distribution of menthol tobacco products. So, the floor is yours, or the video screen is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Mercado Altman. I'm the Manhattan Community Engagement Manager here with New York City Smoke Free Public Health Solutions. So I do have a short PowerPoint that I just want to share, and then hopefully we can discuss ways to partner together. So yeah, so this is our so Public Health Solutions is our home organization. And Public Health Solutions is the largest non-for-profit public health body here in the city. Where our mission is really to support New Yorkers, families, individuals of all sorts in achieving their optimal health through building pathways to reach their potential. So through this, we believe that, by creating healthy thriving communities, healthy families will thrive, and health equity is like the root of what we do. New York City Smoke Free, though, as a program within Public Health Solutions, or PHS, works to really increase tobacco-free norms throughout the city, so that everyone has the right to breathe in clean, smoke-free air where they live, work, and play. So,
I'm sorry, one second, Stephanie. Are you showing us a PowerPoint right now?
Yeah, can you not see
Oh,
it?
no, it's not showing up.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Oh, I think I didn't click share. Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, okay. Well,
Okay, all right.
all right, we're in business. Very good.
I didn't want to be a talking head on the screen meeting. I could though, but all right.
Okay.
So you can see it. All right, perfect.
Yes, yes.
So smoke free, New York City Smoke Free has two program initiative areas. Community engagement is where I really fall in with Manhattan. Where I work with both residential buildings and businesses to go smoke free through voluntary policy adoption. So smoke free policies are not mandated by the city. These are policies that are recognized by either a residential building of sorts, co-op, condo, market rate, whatever it may be, that wants to establish a smoke-free housing policy, or for businesses, it'd be a tobacco-free outdoors policy, which is essentially just designating a certain square footage in front of an enterprise or community establishment to be a smoke-free zone. And then our sister initiative is really our youth engagement portion, which is our reality check program, where we work with students 13 to 18 throughout all different New York City public schools to become tobacco free advocates. They host assemblies, they host informational sessions, and they work with us, with our legislative officials here in the city to advocate for smoke-free living and smoke-free communities as well. So and with that being said, we've also have been working as a program, recognizing that menthol is a big issue facing our communities to date. And these are just some lay people like knowledge base that I just want to provide before jumping into like the distribution and the concerns about marketing and things like that. But menthol, as we know, or as some of you may know, is a chemical compound extracted from peppermint, or can be synthetically made, and is an additive ingredient to cigarettes. So you might have heard of cold cigarettes, you might have heard of Newports. Essentially, it's if you can picture like when you've ever used Vicks, like the kind of minty flavor, cooling flavor, or the smell rather, in just Vicks, but it would help essentially mask the smoke of the harsh cigarette smoke going down into the lungs. So in a sense, it gives a false sense of safe smoking, and it makes it easier for people to start and harder for people to quit. And on the marketplace, menthol cigarettes represent about 25% of all cigarettes sold within the US. So with that being said, it does create a huge public health concern at present. More menthol smokers are more nicotine dependent. As I said, it does make a false sense of false smoking. Also has a false sense of, that you're not inhaling as much smoke as you are, but actually you are probably more so ingesting more smoke. Menthol cigarettes also contain about 30 to 70% more toxins than a non-menthol cigarette. So to draw a picture, at a baseline, a regular cigarette does contain about 70,000 different chemicals and additives. So, you can imagine what the increase percentage-wise from 30 to 70% more would look like. And additionally, menthol cigarette smokers have a lower rate of quitting than traditional cigarette smokers, and do have a higher rates of relapsing when they do quit. So they are highly addictive products when they are either menthol cigarettes or, to more in the contemporary sense with vapes, the vaping is a lot harder to quit too. And like I said, to the point below is that menthol is also added to a variety of vape products. So, with the vaping trend becoming more popular with the youth, especially not the kids that we work with per se, but in the populations that of the students we work with, we have seen anecdotally from students the issues of vaping and things like that. So I just wanted to highlight namely three populations that are vulnerable when it comes to the marketing of menthol products. And historically, I would say more so than the African American community, and also within the LGBTQIA+, the 2+ community, excuse me, especially in light of Pride Month, so happy Pride, is that these two populations have historically been targeted more so by big tobacco companies when it comes to menthol products. there is a great film called Black Lives Black Lungs that goes into this a little bit. But within the African American community, there have been such cultural events that have been sponsored by Big Tobacco. And also within the LGBTQIA2 plus community, namely Pride events have been sponsored by Big Tobacco. So it's a concerning thing. And you know, these individuals are hooked in at a higher, a more disproportionate rate, given the marketing tactics that are used. And with that, you know, the results are these stats that come about. So, you know, 85% of African American smokers in New York City use menthol cigarettes compared to 22% of white smokers. And 70% of African Americans in high schools and middle schools, so again, that youth component, use menthol vape products. So it's a big concern for us. And when it comes to the LGBTQIA2 plus community, namely 36% of menthol cigarette users are part of the community. And within this community, 2.5 times more likely to smoke cigarettes than their heterosexual counterparts, for those who identify as such. So, and finally for the youth, because we don't want to, you know, our future generations do matter as much as our current adult smokers, you know, vape users, however you want to say it. But more than half of the school youth within the city use menthol cigarettes compared to less than 1/3 of smokers over 25. So that's a pretty startling statistic as it stands. And also, youth menthol smokers have a greater urgency to smoke their first cigarettes of the day than traditional cigarette smokers. So again, it goes back to that point of echoing that menthol cigarettes products are made to be deceptively more addictive because of the cooling aspect. So with that being said, it's not about just, you know, providing statistics about how dire of a situation this is. Menthol has not just been a contemporary issue, but rather historical issue, and one that we hope to work on, at least in this point in time, and see how we can work with communities like within CB12 to see, you know, how we can partner and build pathways to provide education. So these are just some proposals, some little propositions I wanted to just provide the committee with, see how we can work together. But, you know, would love to, if we could contribute either a social media post or a blurb to your community newsletter in any sort of way, would love to do that to bring about the awareness of how dangerous menthol and mentholated products can be. And I mentioned too the Black Lives Black Lungs movie, which is actually a free movie. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. There are 2 parts now, parts 1 and 2 that are up there, probably totaling about a half an hour each. But would love to consider maybe we could host a community event in some sort of way with a roundtable discussion with the experts, or a community discussion of sorts. So we've done that with other boards and like schools and things of the sort. And also lastly, you know, if any facilitation of introductions can be made to your other committees or community-based organizations within your district, would love to connect with those, namely who are health or LGBTQIA2 plus focused, and any youth organizations or schools. I know, Steve, we worked with the schools before a little bit in your district, but yeah, I just wanted to bring this about, see what works, and that's really it for me. I'd love to welcome any questions, concerns, comments.
Well, Stephanie, I tell you what, I'm the statistic that you showed here that I was really struck with was the idea that menthol cigarettes contain 30 to 70% more toxins than non-menthol cigarettes. Why would that be? Why would they contain more toxins?
It's honestly purposely to, I don't want to blame big tobacco, but it would be to hook in more smokers to start smoking essentially. So those toxins are more addictive in properties when one does use them, if that makes sense.
So there's more nicotine in those cigarettes that keeps people smoking.
Yeah, it's not only more nicotine, but other additives too, for the flavors and I guess the addictive properties, right? That would make it more appealing, yeah, to use.
Okay. And let me ask you about there was another statistic that that more than 460,000 African Americans will have started smoking because of menthol cigarettes. Well, is that a projection for the coming year? I mean, what period of time does that cover?
That is a great question. I would have to cite or go back to the citation that this came from.
Okay,
and follow up with you.
okay.
Yeah,
And, okay, I think my most important question maybe is, I thought there was an effort on the federal level to ban the menthol cigarettes. So, has that been stymied?
so that, I think that ban has actually been in effect for a little while now. Yeah, I think it has been, but I know at the city level, there have been
Well, if-
considerations.
If there's a ban on the federal level, then doesn't that cover the?
No, the federal ban was paused by like the Biden administration like 2 months ago. And
Very
it's not
recently.
clear when it will, or if it will ever go into effect. But I know
Right.
there's city efforts about the sale of menthol vapes and stuff like that, and like flavored vapes and stuff like that.
So is there pending legislation then on the city level that we could support?
Yes, there is. There actually is a bill that was proposed by Councilmember Rita Joseph. And she basically put forth a bill that, like to Heidi's point, would ban the sale of menthol and flavored tobacco products and vape products mainly. Yeah. So I know that bill is still in the works. It has been tossed around for a few months now. But I could definitely keep in touch with, the committee here and update as needed and everything like that.
Yeah, could you get back to us? Because that seems like
Yeah.
one of the clearest things that we could do is, and that's kind of a standard thing that we do at the community board, is to support pending legislation at the city council level.
Okay.
So maybe that's something we could do.
Okay, great.
All right.
I will.
All right. Any other questions from? No.
I
Heidi,
have a question.
Jacob has a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
but Heidi, a question.
No. Heidi's okay.
Okay, sorry. I got my attention going like 3 different places. I found the bill that's mentioned, so I'm going to put it in the minutes.
Oh, very good.
Rita's bill there.
Okay.
But Stephanie, thank you for your presentation, and also thank you for recognizing Pride Month. I wanted to do that. You beat me to it, but we can all do it. Anyway, the question that I have for you is, I was wondering if your organization is specifically focused on tobacco products, or if you do any work around tobacco-free nicotine products like Zyn.
Like Zen.
I'm sorry, 1 second. What is this?
Zen, you said?
Yeah,
Zyn?
Zyn.
Oh, Zyn's I don't know what the right term is, but it's a tobacco-free alt nicotine product that it's very popular right now.
Oh.
I don't know exactly what you would call it, but just thinking about that and
it's
wondering if your work is related to that at all.
it's something that the kids use,
Yeah, younger people.
younger people, yeah. So Zyn,
ZYN.
ZYN, okay.
Yeah. No, thank you for your question. So, historically, up until this point, our program has really just focused on tobacco products. With an expansion and consideration to like cannabis too, a little bit of that, and vape products as well. So, the market's ever changing, so our program can consider that in the next grant cycle. But yeah, for right now, Zen is not within our scope of work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you're gonna put that in it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what is it again? It's a tobacco-free,
Yeah, it's kind of
Nicotine
like
product?
kind of like I don't really know, like a chew or like a.
but it has
Like-
nicotine.
He has nicotine,
So is
but
it-
not tobacco.
It's kind of like tobacco dip, but I think it's like a capsule and you put it in your gum and it
Yeah.
like slowly disperses
Oh.
nicotine.
So,
Like chewing tobacco?
so is
Kind
it,
of, but it's like a variant on that. But I think
without-
it's like a capsule.
Yeah.
so if it contains nicotine, isn't it dangerous? Or hazardous on some level?
Well, certainly, I think it would be addictive to some
Yeah.
potential, and that was really my question. Is I think personally, I feel like a smoke-free alternative is always better, but with any nicotine, you gotta, look
Yeah.
at that carefully.
Yeah.
I don't know, just curious to understand the work, so.
All right, well, I've definitely learned something tonight. Okay. Any other questions for Stephanie? All right, Stephanie, thank you. You're gonna send me the presentation, I hope?
I will. I'll do that on Monday. Yeah.
Very good.
All
Okay,
right. Thank you.
okay. You could do it tomorrow if you like.
I'm actually off tomorrow. But
Okay, then,
first
okay,
thing
then
Monday.
do it Monday, do it Monday. I'm sorry, don't want to make you work on your day off. Okay, all right, thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, item number 3. Our long lost former committee member, Tanya Bonner from the Wahai Inwood Task Force on Noise. Is that Professor Hilbert? He arrived at the right time. So Marcus Hilbert, Associate Professor at the Department of Environmental Health Services, the Mailman School of Public Health, Columbia University. Tanya, do you want to kick it off?
Mark is gonna kick it.
Okay, very good.
Well, first of all, sorry that I'm not late, but almost late. I had.
No, you're not late. You're not late. Don't think.
It's really good for fixing it on the road.
Okay.
So how do we do this? Where do I?
You can
sit?
stay right there and speak.
Yeah.
I think, can you folks hear him all right online? It looked like it was working.
So I shared a presentation with Steve Simon, who I assume that's you.
Oh, my God, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
And I brought it on a memory stick.
Oh, well, then somebody could use it here in the laptop.
I don't know. Oh, it's not,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm sorry, I guess I missed that email.
Couldn't tell me that you do this. Well, thank you for inviting me. So I
Hello?
was,
Who was that? Yeah, I'm sorry, Professor Hilbert, go ahead.
yeah, I was invited to talk about a new public health study that is being started in Washington Heights and
Yes.
Inwood. So it's a collaborative study with the Washington Heights Inwood Task Force on Noise, which is chaired by Tanya Bonner. It's not recognizing the part.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I try?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we have a pause for technical difficulties.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so it's a study that is funded by our local NIEHS Center, the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. And let me know the presentation. I changed the order. So what we are going to do is we are going to characterize the diverse set of noise sources that exist in Washington Heights and Inwood. And there is something what I call emerging noise sources. You have to understand most of the noise studies are conducted in Europe. They are much more interested in this research. And they do not have many of the noise sources that we have here in American cities, including dirt bikes, including cars with straight piped mufflers, or actually without mufflers at all. They do not have low flying helicopters. And that's something that we are going to do here to characterize these noise sources, to check how frequently they occur and how loud they are. And then we are also conducting a noise sleep study. We will be recruiting 30 study participants from the local community, and they will be equipped with these active racks. They basically monitor your sleep health. It's like a Fitbit. It only looks a little bit uglier, but the data is better. And at the same time, they will also be monitoring noise in the bedrooms of study participants.
In the bedrooms?
In the bedrooms, the noise. And that's different from an audio signal. So it just,
You're sure you want to do it in the bedrooms?
yeah, where they sleep.
Yes? Oh, where they, okay.
Yeah, because we want to examine whether the study participants wake up, when there are noise sources outdoors. And so these are the devices that we will be using. They are recording decibel levels. It just tells you how loud things are, not more. It's not a recording. So there's no privacy issue,
Okay.
not at all.
But it does keep a record of the decibels.
That is correct.
And do they then download it and send it to you? How do you keep track of this?
So there is a SD card in this thing, like in your camera,
Oh.
and it can store the data for the 2 weeks that we are asking.
Oh, I see. It's a 2-week thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And then this is what the 30 people will be doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they will actually also wear a state-of-the-art, not wearing, sorry, outdoors, we will be deploying really state-of-the-art noise monitor. So this has been built by Belgian collaborators, and that's a spectral noise monitor. So
What is it called?
it's a spectral noise monitor. It can distinguish low and high frequencies. And so if you're comparing the proportion of low and high frequency, then you can make some inferences about the type of noise source that is out there. Just thinking of road traffic, the car tire noise, which actually should be the only thing that we should be hearing, from a normal vehicle, unless it's a truck. But car tire noise has high frequencies, the engine has lower frequencies, and so you can get a sense whether it's a truck or a regular vehicle.
Are you going to be able to track noise from firecrackers?
That's actually one thing, really, I believe, yes.
So this will be in effect during this coming month, up until July 4th?
I hope, well, we can make this happen. We will start recruiting in 2 weeks.
Oh,
And how do you recruit?
So this is really where our community partner is essential, Ms. Tanya Warner.
Yeah.
So we will have an event on Father's Day on June the 16th.
Give me 1 second, I'm sorry, I need to load this up, sorry. Give me 1
okay,
second.
all right.
And maybe I can let Tanya Warner
Yeah, okay,
answer to it.
Yes.
And I continue, but one thing, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir here, but really should be clear, noise adversely affects quality of life,
Absolutely, yes.
but also health. And I wish I had the slides up.
I have it out.
Just fix it.
Just maximum.
There we go.
Yeah, noise is annoying, and for some people that would be reason enough to stop it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks to
Okay.
Tanya, really.
Okay.
Okay, so
Do
can
we
we
wanna
move this
Ourselves
Yes.
to the side,
to the side? Yeah.
Jacob?
Minimize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Our,
yeah, how do we?
I forget how.
Yeah, we've seen enough of Sandra. We don't need to see her again.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we are fine if we are seeing the bottom. I think the slide's okay. Don't
I
worry
just
too much.
I can't see the slide.
That's, no, but as we move on, it will be good. There you go. Okay.
Jones.
That's,
All right,
I forget how to hide that.
so you want me to go now?
yeah, if you want to talk about your recruitment.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wanted to let you all see who's gonna be on the team. And of course, you see me at the top, but we also have Dr. Arlene Bronzak, who is a renowned environmental psychologist. She's been an advisor to our task force for 4 years since we started, actually. And the two professors who are going to be working on this study along with Dr. Hilbert, Dr. Nora Markaram. She's an assistant professor. She's going to be basically overseeing the sleep study part of it. Okay?
Yeah.
And then Professor Stephen Chilrod, who will be working with both of them in terms of the study, and also going to be at the community event that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, where we will introduce some of the technology, some of the demonstrations on decibel levels and impacts on our bodies and on our other aspects of our physical health. So the reason that we chose this particular community is because it is, it's because it is a hot spot This community is very vulnerable when it comes to noise. Between 2010 and 2015, we had the most noise complaints out of all of the community districts, other than Community District 10, our fellows in Harlem, West Harlem. And so we also, back in 2018, I just also want to add, the New York City does community health profiles of different areas of the community, and Washington Heights and Inwood was studied in 2018. And in that, we saw how our community particularly was very vulnerable in terms of different health outcomes. For example, we had the highest number of rates of obesity, diabetes, and hypertension than all of Manhattan in every category. And we were also higher in terms of all of New York City, which includes all the boroughs in every category except for hypertension, in which we tied with 28%. So our community really, and of course, we know that COVID, the pandemic, really exacerbated all of these issues. And so we sit at a very vulnerable position. So it's very important in our community, getting this attention in terms of what is the impact. When you combine the health risks with the noise, we have a ticking time bomb in terms of what can happen to people's health here. So we wanted to start with a small community like Washington Heights and Inwood that is experiencing these problems disproportionately, to understand what happens when people are exposed to those noises and what is the impact.
Let me just say before you leave this slide that by no means should we leave the impression that after 2015 we suddenly had some kind of a quiet period and we no longer have noise issues in Washington Heights and Inwood. I got to believe that in the succeeding 9 years that we've also had high levels of complaints about noise.
Or worse. Oh, definitely. And we know, Chair Simon, that
You can call me Steve.
Steve, you held a public hearing. Was it in October? I'm gonna think it's October of 2020.
Yeah.
And at that time, we had the highest number of noise complaints out of all
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
And over 500 people attended that public hearing. So even people from New Jersey and the Bronx. So people are definitely impacted in our community because it was very well attended. And I want to thank you again, Steve, for allowing that public hearing. Okay, so we know in terms of the issue that our task force had when we first started, because people were still thinking about noise as an annoyance. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a quality of life issue. It's just a bunch of people complaining and whining. But one of the things that we have been able to sort of advance is the knowledge that noise is not just an annoyance. It's not just a small quality of life issue. It also can have adverse impacts on our health, including cognitive impairment, sleep disturbances, hearing loss, tinnitus, cardiovascular disease, and that, of course, combined with our numbers that were shown in this health assessment in 2018, can impact, rates of diabetes and obesity and hypertension when we are dealing with oversaturated with excessive noise. As far as cognitive impairment, again, thank you so much, Dr. Gilbert Marcus, for putting all of this together. Well, in terms of cognitive impairment, these studies have shown that over 20 studies have shown the negative effects of noise on reading and memory in children. Some of you may know that Dr. Bronzak back in the 70s did a famous study on the impact of train noise on school children. She did a study that was a classroom right here in Washington Heights that was right next to the train tracks. And she studied, children who were right next to the train tracks, the students who were not, and of course, the students who were had lower reading scores. And so we know, and imagine students that are home at night trying to study, and they're hearing fireworks, and they have dirt bikes, and it's all of these things going on, the impacts that can have on children in a noisy environment. And additionally, hearing loss, the federal EPA identified 70 decibel levels as a safe hearing limit. But But a DOHMH study, Department of Health Mental Health study, said the noise levels vary all the way up to 80.7. So outside of the safe hearing level. So we know there are a lot of noises and we hear that constantly. And if you're exposed to it, it could result in hearing loss.
And I'm sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Tanya,
Sure.
the DOHMH study is based on 56 different monitoring sites.
Right.
It looks as though maybe only one of them was in Washington Heights and Inwood.
Is that, yeah, that case.
Maybe it looks like it was around 181st Street.
Yeah, which is a good street.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, with all the traffic and
Right,
everything.
right. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. And so in terms of sleep, which this study is gonna focus on, it's been shown, of course, it's the example of a study that shows that acute and chronic sleep restriction or fragmentation has been shown to affect waking psychomotor performance, memory consolidation, creativity, risk-taking behavior, signal detection performance, and risks of accidents. So there are, a number of things that, in terms of the result of our sleep being disturbed. I can't tell you the number of times I've been woken up by the sound of those loud bomb sounding firecrackers. And just awakened out of sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning from something like that. So it definitely can have an impact, especially from our seniors who might have already heart issues. It's definitely a risk factor.
I'm surprised that they woke you up at 3 in the morning. I'm surprised that you were able to go to sleep in the first place.
Yeah, it was a
I mean, I can recall a couple of nights where it's so constant, you can't go to sleep.
Mhm.
And again, thank you so much. And again, keeping with linking noise and health, it is linked to cardiovascular disease. There's an increasing evidence that road traffic noise and aircraft noise will increase the risk of hypertension. And we already have, as I've said earlier, a higher rate of hypertension in our community. So the aims of the pilot study, and I can definitely let Marcus talk more about that as he was doing already. Basically, from our angle, as far as a community advocacy organization, we want to encourage people to participate. The only way we're going to get policy changes and get some movement on the things that we're advocating for is to have our community participate in this study. So I'm really encouraging everybody who is maybe listening or who will be listening later on YouTube or wherever you are and even this, our community members here to participate in the study. It will be vital in terms of making sure that not only that our community is heard in terms of how this has impacted our community specifically, but also it may encourage a broader look across New York City in terms of how this is impacting other communities, because our task force was reached out to by people in the Bronx, by people in Queens, by people in Brooklyn saying, we need help over here. What can we do? And so it's going to be very critical. And again, I'll turn that back over to Marcus to talk about that angle of it. But we are helping to coordinate the community event that's going to launch this effort. And it is called No Noise, as in no noise and no noise. So it is an educational event where we're going to do a variety of things. We're going to have a panel discussion about it, in which Dr. Hilbert and Arlene Bronzap and some others will be participating. We will be having demonstrations, live simulations of noise. We will have information tables, other organizations that advocate about noise mitigation in the city will be present. You can get information from them. There will be food, there will be fun, there will be an opportunity to sign up to show your interest in participation in the study by signing up to be contacted. This will take place at Haven Plaza on Sunday, June 16th from 1 to 3 p.m. I want to thank Columbia for allowing us to, of course, use Haven Plaza for this very important event. And I'm really excited to help them in their goals in terms of community partnerships and conducting community-based research. I think, this fits right in with those goals. And so we're really happy that we were able to join forces to make this happen. If you know, we need more information from me. My email is at the bottom, noisetaskforce2020@gmail.com. If you want to ask anything else about the community event, we will be inviting everyone. All of our community partners will be inviting all of our elected officials, will be inviting our residents. We want everybody to show up and learn and be in the conversation together about this.
Have you sent the flyer to the board office?
I have, we're going to.
You're going to, okay.
Yes, we're gonna.
All right, well, this is great. No, I mean, you know, it's one thing for us to talk in like theoretical terms on how the noise affects people, but for you to actually do a study and to be able to document it is gonna be, I think, an important tool for many of us. So did you have a sense, how long is it gonna take you to put all of this together and produce a report?
So I think hopefully we will recruit our study participants in the summer and in the fall. I think I don't really want to continue recruiting over the winter time just because it gets quieter over the winter time, unless we are going for the fireworks on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So that would be also of interest. But having said that, I think we will be done by November with the noise sleep study.
Yeah.
And then we will have first results, and I will be happy to share them with you before they are published. It will probably take 2 years until everything is published, and that's actually a fast timeline in academia.
And I tell you, in my mind, and I think what originally got Tanya motivated on the issue is maybe the worst issue in this community is the fireworks. And I mean, I really would, you know, I would really love to see that the impact of the fireworks is incorporated into the so that you know, but most of the fireworks would occur in June, July, somewhere around there.
But we will be captured on July 4th, hopefully. Yeah.
This July 4th.
This July 4th.
Yeah. All right. Well, I certainly hope you can do that. One more question. Is your goal to, with Sonia maybe, is your goal to recruit people from one end of Washington Heights all the way up to Inwood, covering the whole Board 12 area?
I mean, we have a goal of capturing the diversity of the entire community. So we want Washington Heights residents, we want Inwood residents, we want residents that reflect the diversity of the community. So of course, we want, you know, our Dominican residents to participate. We want everyone who lives here to participate, you know, so we can have representation.
But does do the results of the study rely upon having people representing the whole district? Is that what you're aiming to do?
It could be race and ethnicity can always play a role. I do not know.
Okay.
But in order to know, you know, you want to have a representative sample.
Right, because we certainly have noise issues throughout the entire district. And I'm hoping that somehow you're able to succeed in recruiting people.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, the reason that the noise test was started, it came from residents.
Oh, yeah.
They were fed up.
Oh, yeah.
They said, we have to do something. So
But-
we came together to holistically bring all of the different agencies and other stakeholders together to talk about the problem. We want to create solutions. We just don't want to talk about it. We actually want solutions to the problem.
No, I know, but my hope though is that you succeed in recruiting people from that span the whole district. Okay, a question from Jody.
It was actually following that particular question, because I was curious about the criteria for recruiting and making sure that we do try to incorporate, because I'm sure there's noises that are different throughout our district. And so it would be nice to capture that. And are we looking at schools and our children at all and incorporating them as criteria?
No, so we will only be recruiting adults at this point. So, you know, you need to have a choice, make a choice. And if you have only 30 study participants, you don't want to have a mix. And working with minors actually is much more difficult from the institutional review board. So that's why we want.
Yes.
You have a question? OC?
Yeah. So,
I think there's a lot of things that I'm thinking of, because depending on how you are conducting the study, I think it may not be for this study, but maybe for future studies, to look at specific groups by age and by health condition, existing
Yeah.
health condition.
Yeah.
And to see how how noise affect people. But with that, the complexity is really winter and summer, because in the summer you have leaves on the trees. And that can be some mitigation of some noise, right?
Yeah,
Because if you are, let's say, if you're at 218th Street, in the summer, sure, you can still hear the fireworks because it's a different decibel all the way from Dyckman. But other noise you may not hear during the summer because of the trees in Inwood Hill Park, but in the winter you will. So there is that, and it's getting to be maybe a little bit more specific, but I think it's important to know, because then Parks Department can say, you know what, we need more trees here. And one of the things that I was thinking when street trees is, for example, the towers on right above 95, right until 179, 78, 79. You have towers there, and back when they built them, or after the building, because of the noise of the highway running right under them, windows explode. Yes, like that. So this area specifically could be a study by itself, because there is nothing that mitigate the noise unless the city will decide to build a platform right above 95, which is very complex. However, that could be something interesting, because the solutions will be have to be very creative. I would going back to street trees and so forth in the summer, but it's, so there are like, I look at it and it's like different ways to conduct so many mini studies, because what we hear in Inwood Hill Park may be different than Highbridge Park, because Highbridge have the Harlem River, and the George Washington Bridge is a whole other thing. So the ambient noise will be different. The starting point will be different in each individual you're gonna check. So that's why I'm thinking, if you take a group of people from George Washington Bridge area, and it's like, okay, this is your age of, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out, 40 years old, all right? With specific health condition or not, that may skew the results as opposed to taking a variety of people. And I'm not saying anything against that study. I'm just saying you're probably going to need more studies after that.
Well, let them finish the first one. Actually, Nancy Preston has a similar question in the Q&A. Maybe she wants to know: will future studies like this follow the first one?
Well, this is a pilot study.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's just a small study, and if we succeed, then we will hopefully conduct a much bigger study, hopefully with hundreds of participants.
that would be great.
And with that, the community has an opportunity to be agents of making sure that we can expand the study by participating in this pilot. If they participate in the pilot, then, we can show that this is something that is the link between the noise and these different kind of noise issues that we are experiencing in our community. And, if the community participates, the more successful that will be, the more likely that an expansion will be. I also want to just note, and we didn't say this before, that participants will be compensated for their participation in the study.
I'm just feeling that if you take somebody like me that lives up on, in Inwood all the way up there, which is relatively very quiet, you hear the birds, okay? And that will skew your data as opposed to participant who will live on Broadway, on Amsterdam, and so forth. So I mean,
I think.
Okay, well, do me a favor, don't volunteer.
For
I did not. This one.
Because you're gonna throw off the data.
Exactly.
You're out of the project.
Exactly.
Okay. Sandra, you have a question?
Yes, first of all, I just want to thank the team. And I think I want to highlight go back to my presentations of one of the examples that we're looking at Columbia and how do we do research that directly impacts the needs of the community. So I have two questions, Tanya, for the Saturday, for the event on the at the plaza. One, will we be doing recruitment on that day? And also, I definitely want to offer the services of my Office of Academic and Community Partners to really share the information on this research. Because I think that, Asi, to your point, in addition to getting people to participate, I think the fact that we're able to share with our community that we're looking at noise as a health indicator is very important. So I think that with every research that we undertake, we need to seize the opportunity to do that health promotion and education that's so much needed in our community. And Tanya, we are having the Sing for Hope piano at the plaza. So I definitely want to take that day for us to test the decimals on that piano, just to starters.
That would be great. Send us the video, send us it, we can then measure it.
Okay, just a question for you, maybe, Tanya. Rana CUP, is there a link between the study and law? My understanding is that this noise is already illegal.
Yeah, we can answer that. One of the things that our task force, really emphasize is that one of the things we discovered when we began to meet with the city agencies, elected officials, and other stakeholders is that we do have these laws in the books, and what is called the Noise Code of the City of New York, but it hadn't been updated. It hasn't been updated since 2007. So all of the new and emerging noises that Dr. Hilbert and the others, researchers are going to be studying, are going to be all these things that are not even thought about, haven't been thought about, or haven't been studied at all, or very little, since 2007, or whenever they were working on it and it was published in 2007. So yes, these things are illegal. Fireworks, they are illegal. The dirt bikes, those are illegal. We know this, and we have, trust me, we have many conversations, having many conversations with the NYPD, with the fire department, and everybody to try to get enforcement on these issues. But one of the things that, we encounter is there's a lot of lack of communication between agencies. There's sometimes limited budgets to do certain things. It's hard to coordinate certain things, but we did make a list of recommendations back in 2021 of the things that we felt what could be done holistically within all of these, among all of these organizations together that could be done to mitigate the noise. One thing was implemented, which was a noise camera. We asked for that back in 2021, and the Department of Environment, New York City Department of Environmental Protection did launch a noise camera program. But we have so many more things on that list that still have not been implemented, which would help with the enforcement of the laws that we have on the books.
And we got to get that noise camera back.
Yes,
And
we need it back in our community.
So
Okay, and
one last thing to consider is to look at the SICRA manual. It's the City Environmental Quality Review Authority, I think. I forgot.
Right.
There is a manual that the city, there is a noise chapter in that manual. And this is mainly noise for construction. However, you go back to the cities and we need to revise the chapter to include XYZ.
well, I think he'll be in a much stronger position to do that once he completes the study. I
Correct?
mean, we'll have a recognized document that can be used.
And I think one of the challenges that we've had to overcome is people to take this seriously, understand the link between noise. It's not just noise. It is noise in health. It's noise in mental health. It's noise in physical health. There are also links to noise in crime, because some of the people that are on dirt bikes are also committing crimes while using those dirt bikes and things like that. So there are many connections to noise. And so, one of the challenges that we've had is, and I think that we've come much closer than we were in 2020, is getting people to recognize those links and understand why this is a serious issue.
All right, very good.
Who will you be sharing your, the results with, besides us?
Sorry, Ben?
Who will you be sharing the results of your?
Well, with the noise task force, most definitely. And would be happy to report in front of you again.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
So when I'm invited, I would be very happy.
It's valuable
Yeah,
information.
you know, and it was
Yeah.
really good, the suggestions that you made, just going back to the trees, this is what we call an intervention study, which is really something separate, so we cannot do everything at once. But it would be great, to further pursue these different ideas.
And
All right, well, I'm gonna
I
put-
think also it's a good idea to use this, Columbia could use this information to outreach to the community.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's direct,
No, take Sandra up on her offer. And she's in a good position to help you recruit people to participate in the study. But so I'm gonna schedule you,
100%, yes.
I'm gonna schedule you to come back at the June 2026 meeting.
No, before that.
No, he'll be finished in 2 years.
In 2 years with the
Tanya,
application.
we'll come back together with my new biotech building.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, but you are good. We'll have you both on the agenda again. All right, Melissa Elstein has a comment. This is great. Would love a New York City-wide noise survey questionnaire study too. Okay, well, we have to start with Washington Heights and Inwood. Washington Heights and Inwood is going to set the pace.
Right.
All right, very good. Thank you, Professor
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and committee members.
Professor Hilpert, and
That's
thank you, Tanya. And Tanya, we're hoping to have you back here more often. You don't really have to travel very far. All right, next on the agenda. We were supposed to have our representative from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, but she apparently had another engagement tonight. She sent a couple of notes, not very much really. Actually, let me give my regular report on COVID-19. And actually, there wasn't very much, this is very unusual. There wasn't very much information today on the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene website. Maybe that's one reason Pauline didn't come. But
That's a good sign, you're saying.
but we do have information on hospitalizations, and it's significantly higher than where it was a month ago, last time we met.
Hmm.
And the zip code 33 was at 12 hospitalizations per 100,000 during the 28-day period ending May the 23rd. 18th highest zip code of the 177 in the city. Zip code 40 wasn't far behind at 11.4 hospitalizations per 100,000, number 23 ranking, and zip code 32, 7.9 hospitalizations ranked as number 43. Zip code 34 apparently had so few hospitalizations it didn't even get a number, but it was somehow ranked then at number 101 of the 177. So 3 of our zip codes were fairly high up there, last time I believe the hospitalizations were hardly measurable. So this is here it is. Yeah, we had 0, 0, 0, 0. So this time around we're a month later we're really in much worse shape.
Can I see that for the minutes?
Yeah. That one, yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Is
so
it possible the virus survive longer in a heat as opposed to cold? I don't think that's the case. I'm just
I don't
thinking,
know.
why would it be, what's the?
well, Pauline says that there's a slight upward trend in COVID cases, but nothing alarming at this time. I mean,
Yeah, but why is it?
this looks to me as though it's more than just a slight upward trend.
I think also the weather gets a little bit warmer, people tend to congregate.
Yes, yeah, very good point.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point, Julio. Yes,
not wearing masks.
Yeah.
Because it's too hot.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably that could be, that very well could be the reason.
Yep.
So Pauline also says here that as of March 25th, there have been 4 measles cases in New York City. And there is no update information on TB. Next is our report from the New York Presbyterian Hospital. And we have in person Julio Batista, the Community Affairs Liaison. Julio.
Wow, thank you, Steve. Great to be here. So let me continue on with the COVID numbers and give you some updates.
Very good.
So hospital-wide, meaning 10 different campuses, we had 90 cases in total. For Northern Manhattan, which includes the.
Now, what period of time is this?
This is for the, this is as of this morning's numbers.
Oh, okay.
So, there were 90 cases, for the Northern Manhattan area, which is the Allen, Milstein, and Children's Hospital. We had a total of 17 cases. That's broken down to 2 at the Allen Hospital, 9 at Milstein, and 6 at the Morgantown Children's Hospital. Which is, slightly high.
Yeah,
for the Morgantown.
Yeah.
But the numbers keep dropping, so, which is a good thing, just for our perspective. Just also want to report that, I hope, did Sandra leave us? Oh my gosh, she left us. So she did such a wonderful job, with the Medical Center Neighborhood Fund. She emceed the event. This past Tuesday. And this was the 37th annual Medical Center Neighborhood Fund. We awarded nearly $190,000 to 69 community groups. And, we also recognized 2 organizations that go beyond sort of the normal work. And those are built into what we call the Donald Tapley Award, which is the founder of the Medical Center Neighborhood Fund. That was given to Uplift NYC. And also we did for Joe Hintersteiner, who some of you may not know, he had a art gallery, Community Award 12, when it was at Haven Avenue. So, and that went to Jazz Power. And they got a little bit more money for their work.
So the award that went to Jazz Power is named for Joe Hintersteiner.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. So as you know, when Haven Plaza was created, which is right on Haven Avenue.
Yeah.
Art Interaction was the gallery that was in Community Board 12.
Right.
A local artist, and it was started and ran by Joe Hintersteiner. So that award bears his name.
I have an original Hintersteiner watercolor in my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very nice.
Very good. So and the other Uplift NYC, is that
Uplift NYC? Youth program.
Is that Domingos?
Domingos. Right.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just want to announce also that our community grants is now open till the 23rd. This is where we select 3 different groups from this particular area. They could get up to $100,000 a year for their work, and so we're starting that again this year.
Is the group has to be 501?
Yes, has to be
Okay.
501c3.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe we share the information, the links with the board, and we'll make sure that if you have not seen it, I'll make sure you guys you get a copy.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
Steve, are you gonna take care of this? Make sure we're getting a copy?
No, Julio.
Excuse me?
You're gonna make sure that.
Yeah. It should have been sent out to the board earlier on, but I'll follow up on that
Yeah, please.
and make sure that members of this committee receive a copy of those. Right. The other thing I would like to say is we're happy to be partnering with the district attorney's office to host a senior safety awareness fair, and we're doing this in conjunction also with Diane Ashley and Isabella. So happy to do that, and this will be here on the 2nd floor on June 18th, starting at 10 a.m. And so everyone is welcome. Flyers have been circulating. We're using also the Art for Washington, who will help transport seniors to the event here. and this will be focused not just on the wellness, but also on, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of scams that are impacting seniors, so that will also center on that as well. Continue with the partnerships, as you know, there is an Aim High program that's started with Columbia and the Armory, where you invite seniors to come in. They have about, I think they're hoping to get about 100 seniors. Now they have about 400 seniors.
This is the walking program.
The walking, right, and then they also get health education
No,
from some of the staff, hospital staff. So we're making an investment as well. We want to expand that particular program. So we're gonna, the hospital is putting in a substantial amount of money to make sure that this is expand beyond the 1 day to a couple of days. And
that's good.
we're starting that. The announcement will be this coming week. At the that's the Aim High. Also, the land Trust for Public Land, which is a national not-for-profit that protects really the green spaces. We provided them a grant as well, and they're I believe they may have already finished redoing the playground at IS 52, and we will certainly have a groundbreaking ceremony there later this month as well.
Well, if they finished, it's a little late for the
Yeah,
groundbreaking.
maybe
Maybe you're doing a ribbon cutting.
Ribbon. That's very good. Thank you, Steve.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. And just finally, we put here last month about the garage, the employee garage on 160th Street. They were doing structural work there. Work has started. They're doing concrete work. And it will be done again in different sections, different stages, because there are about 100 cars, employees that are parking there. So that has begun. I've asked whether there's any concerns, whether the employees there have received any complaints. I've not heard of it. I do try to go by there once in a while, just observe and see. So that has already begun. I believe that's it.
All right, any questions for Julio?
I do.
Ms. Harrison?
I'm sorry. Do you have a flyer for the June 18th event?
Yes.
And I also understand, just because last month, we talked about all these recycling issues with shredding, and I believe they're gonna have a
Yes.
shredding machine.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, so as part of the event on the 18th, the DA's office has hired, I guess, a shredding company,
Oh,
and they'll park downstairs in the building, so anyone in the community that has financial important documents they need to shred, they can bring that, be done during that time frame.
oh, we definitely have to get the word out on that.
I think it's in the flyer as well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think I saw it somewhere. Yeah,
I haven't seen the flyer, but
Oh,
they brought it up at the general meeting.
yeah, where would I have seen it then?
Yeah.
So you did send this flyer to the community board?
Jocelyn did,
All right, so
so DA's office,
so maybe the board already sent it out?
but I'll make sure you guys get it. as well.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Jocelyn also reported this
just
last
post
night
it.
at the
Yeah, if you
public
post it,
safety.
it'd be great.
Yeah.
Just let your neighbors know.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
And just another comment, I do walk by that garage on 160th all the time, and I have not noticed a problem at all. I mean, it's pretty much been, the traffic seems normal and doesn't seem to have, I haven't noticed a problem.
Okay.
All right, very good. All right, we're gonna move on. Our intrepid representative from Isabella Geriatric Center has once again stuck it out with us, although she just disappeared for a second. Diane Ashley, Director of Marketing and Communications for the MJHS, which includes Isabella.
Good evening, everyone. We have one case of COVID. A person is doing fine, stable, but on mandated isolation. There have been no hospitalizations for COVID in the last month, so we are not contributing to the data points you shared earlier. We're at a 98% capacity. So happy that there is nothing specific to report. And there's no flu since our last meeting either.
All right, very good. And no measles.
I didn't check on measles.
Oh, all right.
So I
right.
cannot comment on measles.
Okay, very good. That's the right position to take. You can't comment because you didn't check. Okay, OC has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, last month we spoke about pets in your facility. I mean, more so cats, but it's not a follow-up question on that, but do you have any data indicating what percentage of your population had to find arrangement for their pets, existing pets, before joining your facility? Not the right
So,
word.
I don't know for a fact the answer to the question, but I do not believe that our intake process captures that. So I certainly will ask, but I don't believe, I believe that most people privately arrange for the care of their pets if they have a pet and they are coming into the facility either for short-term rehab or long-term care.
Right,
But I will ask OC, but I don't think I'm going to be able to report any data for you.
okay,
I will absolutely ask.
okay.
All righty. All right, thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
All right, we now have before us, the next item on the agenda is a resolution requesting affordable veterinarian services in Community District 12.
Yes.
I'm hoping, Jacob, did you have a chance to look at this?
I sent it, I emailed it to you,
can
but I don't know if the email went through.
On the screen.
Ah,
We got it right here.
Oh,
There it
oh my
is.
God.
okay.
All right, and
So,
what was, is Heidi, are you still with us?
She's still here.
Did she's still with us? Good. All right, great. All right, so, we have a quorum in order to vote on this. All right, OC, you want to explain your resolution?
yes, so a few, maybe 3 months ago, we spoke about the lack of affordable services, veterinarian services for pets in our district. And so and the actually reduction of some services since since COVID. Because the organization that is doing most of the spay neuter was shut down, and then they had to, there was some reduction of veterinarian available. There is still problem in that 4 years after the number of appointments available for the public reduced dramatically. And with that, the problem that we are facing in our district is that since the ASPCA shut down their community medicine clinic on 92nd Street, pets from Manhattan cannot, well, how should I put it? Like, we do not have, we have no place, no clinic to send low-income pet owners to get, for their pets to get services. The ASPCA since COVID opened a clinic in the Bronx for Bronx residents, in Brooklyn for Brooklyn residents. They will open one later on this year in Queens for Queens residents. And there is one in the making for Staten Island. We have nothing. What we do have in our district is only 3 for-profit veterinarian in our district, but that's about it. So we need solutions for the problem, because either people not taking their pets, more specifically dogs, for the routine vaccinations, and licensing is a whole other thing. A lot of dogs don't have license. Or they rely on rescuers like myself to get their pets fixed. So we need services to come back to our district. We used to have the Toby van here. We used to have the ASPCA mobile van. The mobile van is not back in operation just yet in our district. However, they do have limited services in 4 zip codes in the Bronx and 4 zip codes in Brooklyn, but those are only designated for specific pet owners that live in those zip codes. So it's not open to the public like it used to be. And so that's an additional problem. I did have a conversation with the representative from the ASPCA that is overseeing the mobile vet clinic. And they said that they will put our district, or I should say Manhattan, on their schedule at some point, but it's nothing, there is nothing on the schedule. So this is a problem. They will have to, I feel that they should talk to us and we should have a conversation how to mitigate it. And all of this is coming because there are not enough veterinarians as there used to be before COVID. So in terms of, so this is, all of this is actually in the resolution. I also indicate here, what will be the cost if you are going to a private vet to get your cat fixed? It's anywhere between $500 to $1,000 per animal, which is outrageously expensive. I feel that the majority of the residents in our district can't afford that because I see the response on how people are calling me, hey, can you help me here? Can you help me there? In addition to spay neuter, we have issues with, again, as I said, vaccinations, wellness. People are not going and vaccinating their dogs. When I'm specifically talking about dogs, because cats don't leave the house. And that is a problem. They don't get licensed, and that is another problem. And all of that is cost related. Like, this is nothing but cost. That's our problem. So we need the parties involved that used to come here and give services to come back. ACC is not here, as we spoke to ACC, and this is all related to council members that requesting ACC and fund services for their district. We need our council members and state representative and everyone else to pay attention to what's going on in our district and fund those services. We can have ACC wellness vaccination clinic here. We can have Positive Tales that work with ACC, and I volunteer in their two events so far. So I know there are some possibility to start with. It's only a question is who is going to shell the funds for this and how can we get this program going? So, of course, the goal, because we do not have brick and mortar clinic, the goal, since all the other borrowers will get a clinic, or some of them did already, is to get a clinic more specifically in our district. And the majority of, I feel the majority of residents, pet owners that cannot afford that kind of pricing for veterinarian services are actually probably living from, 110th Street and up. So my goal, obviously, is to get a clinic in our district. But this is further away from, this is not something we can do right away. This is something we should talk to the ASPCA. I did have a conversation with the Porphyria from Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, and I had a conversation with Mark Levine briefly at some point, and he's in support of, of that kind of initiative. They will obviously have to speak to the president of the ASPCA, but this is later. We need to start. We need to have something to start. So back to the resolution, the only item where you see like an X's, which is the fourth,
Yes.
whereas,
Yes.
I knew you were gonna ask me about that.
Yeah, that's.
So the American Veterinary Medical Association, I did contact them about that. There is a calculator for residents and number of pets in a given area. And I contacted them about it, they didn't get back to me. So those number will come here once I get somebody on the phone to talk to me about this and see.
Okay, so we can hold it open, but at the point at which we have to submit the resolution,
Oh,
if you don't have
of
the answer,
course.
we can just delete it.
we could, even though this is something that I feel will give an indication for what's our status in terms of how many pets we have here as opposed to the rest of Manhattan.
Are they actually gonna be able to tell you how many pets are
There is a calculator.
in Washington Heights and Inwood?
Well, I don't know if the calculator is by zip code or by city or by what. This is the conversation I'm trying to have with them.
Okay, all right, so
Right.
let's see if you're able to get an answer to that one.
Right.
Now I do want to move up to the first whereas, the point you make in the seventh. I want to be able to say that the community medicine unit that was shut down was the only spay neuter clinic that they had in Manhattan. Now, I think that's the key point here, is that we have to say that what was offered at that community medicine clinic were the spay neuter services that were the only place you could go in Manhattan.
Yes and no, because the Toby project used to be here too. And they're not, it's a van.
And what is the Toby?
Toby was, I thought Toby was based in Brooklyn, but
Is that a nonprofit?
it's a nonprofit run by City Vet on 72nd Street. They are funding this van, or used to, and they would have a van every once in a while coming to our district. They do have a van
Okay.
coming to Yonkers once a month.
Okay, but
So
it's a mobile van.
It is.
It's not, it's
they're
not,
doing spay neuter.
what?
They're doing
Yeah,
spay.
yes, but it's not a clinic.
It's not a clinic,
Okay,
right?
so I want to
Right.
say in the first whereas that what the ASB shut down was the community medicine clinic, which was the only such facility providing spay neuter services in Manhattan.
But
It was the only clinic.
you mean like brick and mortar
Yeah,
clinic?
yeah, clinic.
Okay.
A clinic is an actual place. It's not
Okay.
okay, all right.
So did I not say that, you're saying?
No, so
I said the only clinic that was specifically designated for pet owners, blah, blah, blah.
No, I want to refer to spay and neuter in that first word.
Ah, okay, so where do you want to put it now?
No, we can deal with that later.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
deal with that later.
Okay, so but back to the seventh whereas, you're referring to, there's a clinic in Brooklyn, there's a clinic in Queens,
Right,
another clinic is planned for Staten Island. Each clinic serves pets residing in the respective district.
right.
Do you mean borough?
Yes, oh, yeah, Borough, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Which,
So,
yeah, okay, fine,
okay,
Borough, yes,
so does that mean that somebody who lives in Manhattan
right,
cannot go to the
Correct.
one in the Bronx?
correct.
Really?
Yes, that happened to me numerous times.
Okay,
People are
okay.
calling me.
Okay,
Yes,
all right, all right.
yes.
All right, next question.
Mhm.
All right, well, actually, you answered the question. You really want, just having a brick and mortar clinic in Manhattan is not good enough for you. You want it to be in this district.
Where it's needed most.
Okay, all right. Well, how do
Would
we,
you agree with me that
Well,
people that live
I-
at West Village don't need a low income?
yeah, but I don't know whether I can make an argument that it's needed more here than in East Harlem or Central Harlem or.
But the
Yeah.
rent here is also more affordable. Let's, yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
rent
Oh,
here is
well.
more affordable than
Well, I don't,
Soho.
well, yeah, but,
Okay,
All right.
so
okay, but,
they need to be where they
Okay,
get their
all
need,
right, okay, we're gonna advocate for our own community here.
of
Okay,
course.
and so the Toby Project, you answered that is a nonprofit, okay, fine. All right, so I also want to move, I also want to say in the first where resolved that we are calling upon the ASPCA to open a brick and mortar clinic in District 12. I want the first focus to be on the ASPCA. And then I want to say right after that we call upon the elected officials to support that request. But I first want to address the point to the ASPCA.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want me to reverse the,
No, I want to first say that the ASPCA should open a brick and mortar clinic and then talk about the elected officials. Because I want to be able to address the resolution to the ASPCA.
Okay.
But I got a whole bunch of little comments and,
Yeah.
okay,
Disregard
we'll deal with that later.
automatically thing, because I
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then, okay, so those are my points. I mean, and this is a good thing, I believe, for us to do. So, are there any other, questions or comments? One second, I have to deal with my committee first.
No, I mean, I really haven't had time
Okay.
to look at it, so
Alright.
will we get a chance to just take another look at it?
Yeah, I will send it
before? Yeah.
to everyone once we're doing.
I think it's fantastic though, and I think
Thank
it's
you.
very important part.
It is.
Very good. All right, Jacob, any questions, comments?
I think well, now that I rearranged it, I think it's now in the second resolved. So up on your screen, just your point about allocating funds for wellness and vaccination clinics in our district. We probably don't need to specify this, but if we're really splitting hairs, I wonder if we should specify veterinarian or like veterinary wellness and vaccination clinics. Just to differentiate that we're
Yes.
not asking for like, vaccine clinics for people.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yes.
correct.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
totally right. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And in this
No.
case, would the clinics be run by ACC or by the ASPCA?
The ASPCA had their own clinics. I don't know for sure. I would say we can invite anyone that want to have clinics in our district. I don't want to limit that
Okay,
to one or the other.
okay, very good.
Yeah.
So, should we say that, clinics are operated by either, ASPCA or ACC?
And then there is the, Positive Tales. They're
Okay.
running their own
Oh,
clinics as
Oh,
well.
all
So
right, all right, so
let's
there are other
not
things, okay,
limit, yeah.
okay, very good, very good. Okay, Heidi, do you have any comments or questions?
The only thing that I would say is, one of the resolved at the bottoms, it says to like bring them at a regular basis. Do we want to just be more specific? I don't know if you mean like monthly, quarterly. I don't know what's like a reasonable ask, given the circumstances, OC.
So the reason why I left it vague, and I did, but in the beginning, I wrote that I wanted by, every other month. I don't want to be specific
No,
because
no, yeah.
let's let them
Yeah.
come back to us and say, hey, we can do
Yeah.
this, and then we can negotiate.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's get it first on some kind of,
Yeah.
regular basis and see what they can do. Julio, you had a question?
Yeah, I just want to find out, in terms of, I know that during COVID, a lot of folks decided to bring in pets. And unfortunately, they have to surrender them. Is that number disproportionate higher in, let's say, Northern Manhattan as opposed to other communities? Where we've had to surrender our pets because one, the cost of having a pet and not having services and also the food has made it hard to keep them around. So I'm not sure if there are any stats like that.
I'm not sure. I'll try to find out.
And then second, I was gonna ask, are there any like veterinarian schools that one can recruit to do volunteer work or as part of their class activities, be recruited to come up to the Heights to do some wellness checks?
So LaGuardia there is a veterinary school in Queens, LaGuardia, but it's not for vets, it's for vet techs.
Oh.
And so it's different. They're needed too. But one of the things that we don't have in New York State, vet techs cannot do neutering in New York State. Some states allow that, and I'm talking about just on male cats, not females. It's a whole very complex. So because of the issues of there are not enough veterinarians, will be a later on thing to think about to mitigate some of the problems. It's yeah.
Okay, let's call the question. Can we see the screen? I gotta see Heidi.
Oh, yeah, I can stop the share.
Okay, so, all those in favor of this, resolution, please indicate by raising your hands. 5. We only have 5 committee members.
You made a motion. You didn't
Oh,
do
I'm
a
sorry,
second.
and there was no second. Let's start again.
You made the motion.
No, I'm probably not supposed to make the motion.
Oh, that's true.
I make a motion.
Okay, very, Jacob
To
makes the
adopt the
motion.
resolution as amended, I believe is the proper language.
Oh, my God, I'm glad we're doing it over. Jody seconds it. Okay, very good. All right, this time we're doing it correctly. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your hands. Jacob appears to be voting twice. That's 5 people in favor. I'm going to conclude, since there are only 5 committee members in attendance, that nobody is voting no, and no one is abstaining. We also have a fellow board member joining us, Mr. Robertson. Do you wish to vote? I guess Mr. Robertson is currently on a tour of the Hispanic Society and is otherwise engaged. And I don't know, the only other person appears to be Marilady. Marilady, do you wish to vote on this? Members of the public are entitled to vote. Do you wish to vote on this resolution?
For me, everything is okay.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes,
You're in favor of the resolution?
yes.
Very good. All right, so members of the public are voting 1 in favor and oh, hold it, there may be some other people here. Oh, yes, of course. We have Cheryl Miller, Linda Smith, Ronnie Siufi, and Tiffany Lee. Are they able to raise their hands in some way? Yes, Cheryl raises her hand. So does Raina. Linda raises her hand. And what about Tiffany? All right. Hold it. Cheryl took down her hand. Now it's back. That's back. Okay. Okay. So it's members of the public of 4 yes. 4 yes. And Tiffany, do you wish to vote? Are you voting no or abstaining? Well, I tell you what. Are you voting no? No response. Are you abstaining? No. Oh, she's going to abstain. Very good. That's perfectly okay. So members of the public, the vote is 4 in favor, not against, 1 abstention. All right, that concludes the voting on this resolution.
Yay. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
All right, on to old business. There are still no street and sidewalk cleanliness ratings posted on the city website since November, and there are no more recent recycling statistics since January. So I don't have. There's no none of our regular old business is more than just old. Does anyone else have old business? Ms. Herson.
Just follow up to the recycling issues that we brought up last month and that I sent to all of you in an email. I do think that they're incredibly valuable, and I do have to tell you that a textile machine was brought into our building the other day. It's beautiful, it's amazing. It literally has been placed in our laundry room. It was a fairly simple process through the sites that I gave you.
Yeah.
And then there's also an electronics one so that you can also donate through your building, and the city takes care of it all. They bring in the apparatuses, they assess where they should go, and decide how, pick up times and all of that. And it's very specific and really well done. If we were to try to do some kind of public programming, it would have to be where we would have to incorporate our council people and set up the actual date. And I think there's some funding that would have to go on, because I don't think the council people can provide funding for it.
So do you have both the textile and electronics in your building?
The electronic one, we don't, because we don't qualify, if I remember. Like, you have to be a certain size building to have the apparatus or the container brought in. we can qualify for just finding a location in our building, we store it and they come and pick it up.
All right, so,
So we have, I don't think we've done that yet, but we did the textile one. It was pretty simple.
Every how long do they pick up?
The electronics one is, based on the way I understand it, is that, at a certain point where your unit is full, they'll pick it up, and I think you just notify them that the unit is full. In our case, it would, be a certain location, and at the point that there were like 20 electronics that needed to be picked up, we would call and they would come in. They just don't want to come and pick up nothing.
Right.
And then same with the textiles. I'll show you the textile bin, that came into our building. It's pretty fancy. And again, I think you just call at a certain point that the bin is full.
so can I come and visit your building and drop off my old clothes?
Well, I did think that, I know that it would be interesting to actually talk to them again, and I can certainly follow up, because I think that there's some places in our city where, like Word Up, could possibly take on, a bin or recycle, whatever, our certain public places. I wouldn't say a library, but that might be interested in something like this, and I don't know whether they might do that.
Now, is your building a rental or a co-op?
It's a co-op,
Okay,
but I don't think that rental buildings are precluded from doing this, as long as I.
yeah, but Raina's point here in the chat is that the textile and electronic bins are not available to renters because renters are at the mercy of landlords who are not incentivized. So,
That I don't
you
know.
probably have to get the landlords to go along with bringing these bins into their buildings.
But a brilliant idea, and the city has done a really nice job of organizing that, and I really would love to. I don't know how, Steve, you do that. I don't know how you
Yeah.
incentivize landlords to take on these kinds of projects.
Yeah, so Raina's comment here is I have tried, believe me. All righty. Okay, very good. And, okay, so now we're up to a new business. Is there any new business?
No, before the new business, the old business.
Oh, we're back to old business.
No, we're not talking about textile because.
Hold it one second.
No.
I see in Facebook that there's some kind of textile recycling going on now at the Inwood Green Market.
I heard that and I was shocked to hear it and I was like, wow, but I did not confirm. I didn't go there last weekend, so I'm not sure. I will try my best to go this coming Saturday and see if they are there. And if so, I would like to get more information if they're there,
I think
who
what
they are.
I think what I saw on the Facebook post, that it was maybe only for clothing that was in good condition, or
Yes,
that could
it's
be
not for,
that could be reused or something.
Something
That's
like
always
that.
been the case.
Is that always been the
Mhm.
case? Oh,
no, actually, the one we had before in a farmer's market, they actually shred the items and make
That is
like
before my-
yarn out of it or some or whatever.
yeah, I thought I could bring like the
Yeah.
pants and socks that have holes in them or something,
Right,
you know?
yeah. But no, my question, so May 18
Well, one
was,
second. I don't want people to understand, think that all of my pants and socks have holes in them.
okay,
all right,
thank
okay.
you for clarifying that.
Let the record show.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let the record show.
So May 18, I think, was the last day for the compost in the farmer's market. So we no longer have public composting. And it's just a note that it's gone. At this point, I'm not sure if it's forever or what, but composting in the farmer's markets is just all gone.
Okay, well, that's probably a result of the fact that
It's a
that
funding issue.
there was a budget cut and
Yeah,
the composting that was being done by nonprofit groups or CBOs has been defunded. But maybe in the new budget to be adopted in the next few weeks, maybe that funding will be restored.
yeah, and then it's gonna take them 2 years to get the program back up together.
Well, I don't think it will take that.
Okay, well, I don't know, but I would just like, it's really.
And I said,
it's
Darryl,
that-
Darryl Cochran called me up to tell me that the composting bin that was located, I believe he said it at 181st and Fort Washington was removed.
Oh, really?
Which I don't understand.
I don't know.
All right, I told him I'd look into that. All right, very good. Any other old business? No, I'm sorry. That's right. We want old business. Is there any new business? No new business. Oh, my God. Okay, any announcements?
Uh, we do have a new business-ish.
Ish?
Yes, because didn't we have a conversation with New York Accelerator and we said I contacted them and they can come to have a presentation about local law 97? Or it's not us and it's housing or it's land use. I forget how it all started. And I know I contacted them and I'm now thinking I have this email in my inbox sitting.
Well,
So.
it sounds like that could be a joint meeting with the housing committee and our committee.
Okay, so I will contact the contact and start the conversation and then I will loop you
Yeah,
in.
we could possibly do that in September.
I guess it's the only next
Well, that's, yeah.
time we have a meeting.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, well, that's what we.
okay, okay.
Two announcements in the chat.
Okay, we're up to announcements. Mr. Banis,
There were just
Oh,
announcements in the chat.
they're in the chat.
Make sure you saw those.
in the chat or the Q&A?
The chat.
Oh, the chat. I'm sorry. Um. Hold it. My name is Tiffany Lee. I'm the executive director of a local community. Where is it? Hold on a second. Community-based nonprofit organization. Oh, my gosh, Alta Gracia Faith and Justice Works. And I wanted to share about our youth service learning program called Global Thinking, Local Action. Universal Impact, which will focus on hunger and food justice, including food insecurity, nutrition, etc. Program that takes place Monday, July 15th to Friday, July 19th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is free and open to all youth ages 14 to 18, and applications can be submitted here by July the 1st. Program includes direct service and workshops with guest speakers, interactive activities, dialogues, and reflections to understand the underlying social justice issues and introduce youth to other tools to address the issues, including advocacy, organizing, and civic engagement. Please share with any interested youth. Also happy to mail a flyer out. Yes, could you please, Tiffany, could you please send that flyer to our community board office? What is our address? CB12M. What is?
Yep, CB12M at cb.nyc.gov.
Yeah, Tiffany, did
I'll
you?
put it in the chat too.
Put in the chat, thank you. Yeah, Tiffany, this is great. And at some point, I would love to hear directly from you about the work that your organization is doing. Lady, We Act membership meeting is this Saturday. We will be speaking about our asthma policy agenda. And the meeting, Lady, is at the 21st Century for Leadership School on Amsterdam Avenue and 152nd Street, 10 o'clock on
Yes.
Saturday. 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Yes,
Is that
correct.
okay? Very good.
Thank you, yes.
Okay. Oh, hold it. I'm back to Tiffany's got another point here. Our youth leaders are also doing nutrition advocacy work in partnership with the Interfaith Public Health Network and the Center for Science in the Public Interest. So if there is any opportunity to bring that information or presentation to this committee, please let me know. Well, yes, absolutely. But at this point, oh gosh, it won't be possible until September. Does that work? Can I, Tiffany, hold on. I'm going to promote you so you can speak. Okay, now we were told if someone can speak about the 524 development on Fort Washington Avenue at the end of the meeting. Kevin plans to be the speaker. Kevin is, I think, is now down the hall speaking to the Housing Committee on that subject. But primarily because that's the committee that also interfaces with the Department of Buildings. And the issue here is primarily, I believe, on the construction permit that was issued by the Buildings Department. Tiffany says, happy to send the flyer. Yes, happy to speak more. Oh, shoot, please, oh, that's good. I think that can work. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, this is great. Hold 1 second though. No, what happened?
No, that's good. No,
All right, Tiffany.
Hi,
Tiffany?
everyone.
Okay, Tiffany, would you want to come to our September 5th meeting to make a presentation?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you so much.
All right, so all right, you're gonna send an email to our community board address?
Yes, that would be great. I will do
All
that.
right. All right, do me a favor, tell them that you want them to forward your email to me, Steve Simon, so I can then follow up with you to pin down the September date.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
OC, you have a question or?
No, I have
Oh.
another announcement.
Okay, another answer. All right, Tiffany, we look forward to hearing from you in September.
Thank you. Me too.
All right.
New York City H2O presents a talk at Hunter College tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Protecting public health, monitoring infectious disease at sewage treatment plants. If you're interested, you can register. Just go to New York City H2O and register
Right, and what time is that tomorrow?
at 6:30 p.m.
At Hunter College.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Any other announcements? I think we covered that. That brings us to the end of this meeting. So I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 9:35 p.m. We covered a lot of stuff as we usually do, and I want to thank everybody for coming and the members for joining us and for the members of the public who stuck it out with us. And Heidi, we expect you to get better right away. We don't want you to slow down and dilly-dally at home. We expect you to be back in at 100%. We'll give you to the weekend. I'll tell you what, I'll give you till Monday. You can relax over the weekend. We want you to be back on your feet by Monday.
Thank you. I'll try.
No, don't do more than just try. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Good night.
Okay, bye.
So this is it, guys, just so you can see it. That's the pin.
Bye, good night.